Mr. Roskam is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think what we're trying to do here is to send a very clear message, particularly to the Europeans. How this manifests itself in the future, how this plays itself out, is not clear at this time. But here's one thing we need to do. We need to send an unambiguous message that the United States chooses not to be complicit with efforts to isolate Israel. In fact, we choose to do everything we can to make sure that Israel is an economic success. Why? Because that is in the best interest of the United States of America. That's why. So to say that this is now a principal negotiating objective of the United States is to say, all right, this is on this list. And as you're going in and negotiating, raise these issues. But this is not hypothetical. This is not something that's just, in some white paper somewhere. Let me give you a couple of examples about how real this is. There's a number of European countries, such as the UK, Norway, Denmark, and the Netherlands, that are actively wielding economic instruments to pressure Israel into unilateral political concessions. Sweden's Nordea Bank, Denmark's Danske Bank, and the Netherlands' largest private pension fund have divested from Israeli financial institutions. Contracts with Israeli entities have been canceled at the urging of home governments, not just private participants, but home governments for alleged violations of international law. And it goes on and on. So here's the point. Let's communicate clearly that the United States chooses not to be complicit in this. Let's empower the USTR to say this is one of many principal negotiating objectives. And then at that point, there could be subsequent activity that this committee has to be involved in. But I think we ought not underestimate our ability to be a restraining influence on absolute nonsense that's happening on the other side of the Atlantic. Absolute nonsense. And to isolate one country and to have one country set to a standard that no other country is held to. And this doesn't have anything to do with the adventures in Iran, which we've got a very rigorous sanctions regime on. This is about one country that is being singled out unfairly by enemies. And this is an opportunity for this group right here tonight to have a disproportionately positive effect. And so for us to mirror what has happened in the United States Senate, to pick that language up on a bipartisan basis and to move forward on this, I think is going to be a very, very, very good thing. I yield back.